So I'm going to pull up DraftKings, and that's only because I usually look through DraftKings for my wagers. So we're going to go to the NFL here, and I'm going to give you some props here that I like for this weekend. Um, Let me see here. We're going to begin with the Super Bowl LIX specials. I'm sorry, 59. And some of these I will have to find because of the fact that, I was looking at them this afternoon. Thankfully, I put the category that they're under here, the subcategory stuff that they have here. Um, no, it wasn't the Swifty specials, not the trending. Um, where was it exactly? I have to find this here, so forgive me. Okay, here's the first one. I would not be surprised if this is more Kansas City that does this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles try something like they do some sort of a halfback option off of the tush push that turns into Dallas Goddard going deep. But I think it's more Kansas City that will have a wide receiver or Travis Kelsey or a running back throwing a pass. So my first one is I think we are going to see somebody other than the two starting quarterbacks throwing a pass here. And that is at plus 180 that that over 2.5 players will throw a pass in the Super Bowl. That's my story with that. I'm sticking to it. So, um, forgive me. I'm setting things up here because I'm actually uh, posting my bets as I go along here as well. So that's the first bet. Then we're going to go with special teams miscues. So let me find that here. Um, and like I said, I do have to find these. I have them all written down. It's just a matter of finding them. Um, let me find it here. And I do apologize for this because some of these I just have to find, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Passing props. No. Um, Here it is. Special team miscues. Any kick to hit the uprights. I'm saying that this is going to happen to Jake Elliott. Michael vouch for me on this. Jake Elliott has not been that great with his kicks this year. So as a result, I'm going with um, Jake Elliott to hit the uprights at plus 550. and maybe Harrison Butker as well, but I think it's more Jake Elliott than it would be Harrison Butker. Um, Passing props. There we go. I feel like this could be both guys throwing an interception in this game. Now, the one good thing that you have about DraftKings is that they put the average interceptions per game here and they put these averages in there. I think even though the the scores do even though it does tell you that Patrick Mahomes is more likely to throw an interception, I think that's what's going to happen because he's facing the number one defense in the NFL, and the Eagles have had 10 takeaways in 3 games. The Chiefs are a -1 with one fumble. The Eagles have no offensive turnovers, and they have taken the ball away 10 times. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to throw an interception in this game, and that is my third pick here so far. And that is Patrick Mahomes to throw at least one interception at plus 113. So let me go over here. Okay, so those are my first 3 picks. I'm going to clear the screen here. Next up, we will go to rushing. Um, I will gladly take that $5 from you, Mike, or something like that. We'll figure it out. Rushing props. I I really didn't like anything here. Just me. Now the rushing props. I really like Saquon to have a big game. And this may be a game where Saquon gets held in check most of the game, and the way that the Eagles offensive line just pounds the defensive line all game, I would not be surprised if Saquon Barkley has a late 40, 50-yard touchdown or a 40, 50-yard run to get over this total. But I am saying Saquon Barkley to get over 120 yards rushing, 120 or more at plus 114. Um, they are hitting this hard because this was defaulting on 110 yards. It's now defaulting at 120. It was 121 plus 121 this afternoon. It's now down to 114. So that is my next pick. Let's go to defensive props. And you got all these props. So one thing I would say is if you're a person that likes to play the props, especially on a day like this on Sunday, you know, take the time to look things over. You might see something you'd like that I don't. So remember that interception I said earlier? Mahomes is going to throw one. He's going to be throwing that at Quinyanamo Bay. And Quinyon Mitchell will get that interception at plus 700. He has 2 interceptions in the postseason. Those are both his interceptions. So I think Quinyon Mitchell gets that interception. Let's go to special teams here. Um, Now, I get the feeling this is going to be more Butker than it's going to be Jake Elliott because Jake Elliott has been horrible at field goals over 50 yards this year, which has really been weird. Um, I personally think, I could just say, just play both of these and be done with it, and you'll get at least one. I'm not doing that. I'm playing it safe here. With a 5% vig, I'll take this chance here. I say yes to over 47.5 yard field goals, over 47 and a half yards on a field goal. And also note, and sometimes you have to read the fine print. Note that if there are no field goals in this game that are made, the bet is void. So if you're going to your sports book, a brick and mortar sports book, or if you're going to uh, bet on DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, whatever, you're going to see something like that in the fine print there. So those are my so that is my special teams prop. I'll clear that again. Um, the novelty props. And one thing I will say is when you look at this, you have the the easiest one to win, easiest one to lose because you can go heads, you can go tails. It's the easiest one of the thing, and a lot of people still have it wrong. Now, there is something in the way that they test these. They did a test, and but this is a special coin that they're going to use, so this is probably going to be thrown right out the window. If you're using a typical quarter, the top is heavier than the bottom, and that's why you have tails a little bit more than heads, even though you figure it's got to be 50-50. Now, I'm tailing Mike on this, which probably means it's going to end up heads. I'm going with tails as well here for the coin toss outcome. Um, Now, I think that this is an available wager in Pennsylvania, so we're going to run with it here because this is just uh, a point that we're going to do here. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to go to the DK squares. I am going to ride with any quarter with Eagles 1, Chiefs 7. Now, what that means is if the score is Eagles 21, Chiefs 17 in any of those four quarters, that will be a winner. So I'm going with 1-7 to hit at any of the four quarters at plus 1600. So I am using that as well. Now, what I'm going to do as well here, I'm also going to tail Eagles 1, Chiefs 7 as well, if I can find it here. There it is. And like it explains here, if it's 21-17 Eagles at the end of the game, I would be a winner here. I'm going with that at plus 4,000. So that is my second DK squares. Um, so let me go here. I'm not going to do first drive. I'm not going to do first of the game. I'm not doing Super Bowl MVPs. I'm going to go with the alt lines first quarter, an alternate spread here. I personally think when you look at this, remember earlier in the year, the Eagles could not score in the first quarter to save their lives. Over the last 2 months or so, since they got back from that Cincinnati game, they have been scoring a ton in the first quarter. And it also helps that in the Green Bay game, for example, they ended up winning the first quarter most of those games. I just get the feeling that early on, the Eagles are going to throw the ball a little bit more. They're going to get the ball down the field. They are going to score in the first quarter. You may have Kansas City getting a field goal early on or something like that. So I'm not taking Eagles plus 1.5 here because no way I'm giving 87%, putting in an extra 87% to win $100. What I am going to do, I'm going to take the Eagles minus 1.5 at plus 155 on an alternate first quarter line. I feel that the Eagles are going to be leading the game after the first quarter. And since they're not giving me half a point, I'll take that point and a half. I'll take a chance here and I'll take that extra money back. So I'm going with the Eagles minus 1.5 at plus 155. And before I get to my Super Bowl pick, and I think Mike already knows where I'm going with it because I kind of revealed it on Monday night if he was paying attention to my one wager that's already in. Now I have to do this through I have to do this one through I have to do this next one through BetMGM because this is the only prop that I could not find on DraftKings that I found on BetMGM. And BetMGM is another partner with us at Bleacher Brothers. So, um, as soon as I find it, I will share my screen here. Mm, Um, and this may take a couple of seconds because it did take me that when I was going through this earlier on. Game. Um, Saquon specials. It wasn't that. Rematch. No. Spreads. No. I did find it here on BetMGM. I just have to find it here. So Game props, is that it? Hmm. Okay, here it is. I found it. This is a prop that I've tailed a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years. I've been unsuccessful, but I'm going to take a swing at this tonight as well. Um, and I'm going to blow this up here as well. So let me share my screen again. One prop that I tried to do and it didn't work was a punt down inside the 5 yard line. I say yes, it's going to happen. And at plus 200, a punt gets down inside the 5 yard line at plus 200. Okay, so we did that. And then I'll stop sharing BetMGM. And we will go back to DraftKings. And I have one last pick I have to give you. And I'm going to tell you one thing about this game. There are two keys to this game. There are two keys. First, I will tell you that, and I need to see something just to see if it's see if where they ended up 2 years ago. So let me go back here to NFL scores. Just checking one thing here. Okay. 2 years ago, the Eagles had a 35-24 ball of possession, time of possession advantage. I think that we could see that again on Sunday. I think if the ground game can get going, you have a couple of 5, 6 minute drives early on, you may see the Chiefs defense wear down. But you have to remember as well, if you think about it, the Eagles last Sunday or 2 weekends ago, they had the time of possession advantage by about a minute over Washington, which is very skewed because in the first quarter it was something like 13-2 Washington because they had a long drive. Washington had a long drive. They kicked the field goal. Eagles scored on one play. Washington ended up that way. So You look at the last three quarters, it was basically 28 to 16, something like that. You might have to get to about 37-23, 38-22, something like that. One thing that I have said to Mike, and I've said it many a times on this show, your best defense is a ball control offense. Now, I think in the beginning of the game, especially the first drive, I think you're going to see a play or two maybe have the first three plays, depending on if you get a first down right away, depending on what Kansas City throws. Because I think they're going to load up the box, especially on that first drive, especially the first set of downs. I get the feeling that you're going to see Goddard early. You're going to see Devontae Smith early. You're going to see A.J. Brown early. You're going to get a couple of plays where you're going to get these short passes and let them do their work to get the first down. I really think once you get the defense on their heels on that first drive, then you'll see Saquon. I think Saquon's going to have a big game. I really do. And I think that Dallas Goddard's also going to have a big game because the tight ends getting were getting yards and catches and all that against the Chiefs offense. Now, if you when I remember what I told you. Remember I said Eagles 1, Chiefs 7? Well, let me just say this. It's not going to be 21-17 Eagles. It's not going to be 27-21 Chiefs because that would mean the Chiefs win. I'll tell you right now, playing for that parade in Philadelphia, playing for a post-game show around 10 o'clock here at twitch.com/slash Joe Quills or twitch.tv/slash Joe Quills because as Bruce Buffer would say, the winner and new Super Bowl champions, your Philadelphia Eagles. This has the makings of Kansas City. This has the makings of Kansas City, Tampa Bay when Tom Brady won his seventh. Now, definitely, I am not comparing Tom Brady to Jalen Hurts. But the school district has a tough decision at 10 o'clock Sunday night. Do those kids go to school on Monday? Do we subject hungover teachers teaching our kids on Monday? Do we subject all that? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this is 21-17 Eagles as well, because I've been saying this time and time again that I would not be surprised if Kansas City loses a close one because of the fact, plain and simple, when it comes to the law of averages, you win all these one score games in a row, you're due to lose a one score game. So, my pick, even though it's not a one score game, this has a feel of Tampa Bay versus Kansas City in Super Bowl, what was it, 55? It was the COVID game, so whatever year it was, 4 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. This is almost like UNLV versus Duke. How are they gonna react when they're down by more than a score in that final quarter? How are they gonna react when you have a ball control offense that's wearing your defense down in that 3rd and 4th quarter? They will not have an answer for Saquon Barkley. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my eye doctor on Monday or Tuesday better call me and say, we have to reschedule your eye doctor appointment because there's some parade in Philadelphia on Wednesday, which may be not till next weekend because, as I said earlier in the show, the weather's going to be shit all next week. So I'm just going to say it now. Fly, Eagles, fly. If the Eagles do win like I'm projecting, and by the way, I did the math before the game. I had a couple of games where I just played props. If you're saying that I'm just picking the Eagles because I'm an Eagles fan, whatever. Say what you think. But I did look back. My picks this year are 11, 4, and 1. This isn't a guy who has no clue about the Eagles. And I've had those years, and Mike can vouch for that, where I had years where I had no clue what to think about these Eagles games. I am locked in this year. Two of those losses, I believe, one of the losses was a Dallas game because I just used that as a throwaway pick because, oh, they're playing in Dallas. They got to play a close game. At least I think it was. I'm 11, 4, and 1. I'm 2, 0, and 1 in the playoffs. Aunt Viv, make sure that parade is going up Broad Street to the Art Museum because it's time to party like it's 2018. Because my team, my town, my Philadelphia Eagles will be Super Bowl 59 champions. And that is what I'm going with here tonight. Now, in an ideal situation, I would not have given out that pick till Saturday. Now, I probably should have waited on that pick till Saturday so I can give it to you so that more people will watch also eligible, which is at 10 a.m. on Saturday. And we'll be looking at Tampa Bay Downs, who has 4 stakes races, including the Sam F. Davis, which will be a 20-point race for the winner of that race. And I just got to say one thing. Don't care what people think about my team. We're going to party like it's 2018. And we're going to have a parade in Philly next week. It may not be till the weekend. Well, maybe not even that. If the weather is as bad as they're saying right now for next week, you're looking at the the parade being delayed big time, unless they do it in the snow, which I doubt.